All right, we're back for session number 2 here on our Monday Night Live chat. Thank you for watching. If you're watching us on Facebook, if you're watching us on YouTube, if you're watching us from that creepy guy right outside my window with the spy glasses, hey, any of you, we're happy to have you. My guest in this section is Robbie Britton. Robbie, good evening, and thanks for joining me.
Well, thank you for having me, John.
Appreciate it. Oh, I'm glad you were able to make some time tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about, now Robbie's got a variety of different things he has done, and I wanted to specifically talk a little bit about, we're going to start talking about educational opportunities.
Okay.
You know, Robbie, a lot of people, we just finished with DJ Expo, and as I'm talking to people, their thought is, if I want to learn something, you know, I need to be going to Mobile Beat Las Vegas, or I need to be going to these large shows, which you and I are both huge fans of the large shows. But we've also both been involved with at different levels and have attended smaller regional shows like you're doing with the ARM DJ. Tell me, what kind of response and what kind of reports have you gotten over the years from some of the different attendees when it comes to the educational side of these regional events?
Well, you know, content's king. One thing that a lot of feedback I get is that on the smaller regional event, it's just, there's more one-on-one time. There's more, it's just a little more intimate.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like people respond better to the content that's been delivered. There's not as much distraction on a small regional event. If you're in Vegas, there's a lot of things going on. And I guess you get hit by so much at the larger shows that it's hard to really let it all absorb, you know, really sink in. A lot of people seem to really appreciate the regional shows, and I'm a huge fan of any kind of small regional type event.
Yeah, as am I, and a lot of it is for just that region, that intimate feel. A few years back, I was at a regional show, and Yamaha, John Schauer from Yamaha was sitting there, and we were having a beverage, and he as a guy who does, you know, is at NAMM, and he does all these huge shows. And he was saying, you know, how much he enjoys these because he's able to sit down and have some one-on-one time with the end user and actually answer questions, or in some cases, ask questions of the end users.
Yeah. And you have access to the speakers, the people that are presenting at those events. There's at a smaller event like that, you have more one-on-one time to get a chance to and get to know these people a little better, you know, that are presenting.
Now, you've had some big names that have come into ARM DJ. You had, was it this year you had Jeffrey, or was that last year?
No, Jeffrey was a couple years ago.
Now, you meant, did the attendees, they actually get a little time to go up and say hey to Jeffrey after the presentation?
Yeah, that's one of the things whenever I bring somebody like that in, I want them to at least hang around a little while and get some one-on-one time, if at all possible.
Mm-hmm.
This year it was Larry Winget.
There we go. Okay, Larry.
And we had a lunch with Larry thing, and we had about 30 DJs that took advantage of that. So they got to hang out with Larry for about an hour and a half after he spoke.
Let's get back. You know, the quality of the education can vary depending upon show to show. DJ Expo, you know, is kind of known as the gear show, so there's less of an educational component. But you mentioned that people in what they're able to consume because of the less distractions. Are you hearing that from a lot of the attendees that go to both Vegas and ARM DJ?
Yeah, it's almost like a family reunion. You know, it's kind of like a little reunion every year. It's one of those things that people look forward to catching up when they show up at these events, and just the one-on-one time when everybody's there, as they show up, and you know, the event technically starts on Tuesday morning. We have people showing up as early as Sunday, and that's Father's Day. So they'll do the Father's Day thing with the family, and then they'll start their trek to Greenville, Tennessee. And we had about probably 20, 30 people that hung out at the hotel on Sunday night. And a lot of them were playing golf. They were getting together and playing golf that Monday morning before we had our pre-party, our pre-event, which is what we call the Meet, Greet, and Jam that Monday night. Mm-hmm. So we have a lot of social time even leading up to this event. So, and it's a great thing about it. There's, you know, the track, I guess the way I do it is there's only one thing going on at any given time, and everybody's kind of on the same page, whether it's a pre-event party with the Meet, Greet, and Jam, or the breakfast, or we had a mix-off on Thursday night this year. Everybody's kind of guided through, and they're all on the same page with what's going on. And you get a lot of one-on-one time. I mean, that I know I keep saying one-on-one time, but that's really a big deal with this small conference when it can be anywhere from 80 to about 150, 200 people. That it's just you get a lot of a lot of social time.
Yeah, to get to know people like a Mike Walter or
Yeah.
any of the speakers that you've got that have come through there. Dave Lewis from Hawaii. I mean,
Yeah.
just the opportunity to come and sit down and talk to him for half an hour of one on. If you can get that,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's paid for your trip there just in that alone.
Well, they'll do lunch. We allow an hour and a half for lunch, and a lot of people, and that gives everybody plenty of time to get out of the hotel and just go somewhere for lunch. And that a lot of people, the different little cliques, little groups will go to different restaurants around town, and that's been something that we've kind of developed over the last 4 or 5 years. That's worked really well. Is allowing people pockets of time to do their own thing.
Now, what about someone who's never been to like Arms DJ, and you're talking about it being kind of a family reunion such. I mean, that might be a little intimidating, thinking, oh, well, they're all like this one close.
Yeah. No, it's not like it's a clique. It's people find that when they come down there, we're in Greenville, Tennessee, East Tennessee. It's southern. We're very hospitable. The hospitality is awesome. I mean, even with the hotel, that's the secret sauce of my event. Is the hotel is just everything. Just the interaction with the staff at the hotel. The other DJs are there. But the first conference that I had, when I first did the first Armed DJs, Jim Cerrone, the perfect host, arrived and was standing at the front door greeting people as they came in. He just happened to be standing there, and he was the greeter. So it just worked out by accident, and it wasn't planned at all. But the perfect host was the first impression for a lot of the attendees that showed up that first year, and that was 9.5
years. And he would do that and do a wonderful job.
Yeah.
Robbie, we're going to take a little break here for our sponsors. Okay. And when we come back, I want to talk a little bit about, for those who have never been to any of the shows, but they maybe they attend some of their local DJ, like some of the ADJ or different name, what have you, but they're attending those meetings and they're like, well, why should I go? What can I get out of a conference that I couldn't get out of our local thing? So let's tackle that when we get back. We've got our sponsors for our DJN TV Summer 2016 shows.
Hits USA from RPM. Our name says it all. Get the latest hits while they're the hottest. With Top Hits USA, you'll have the track for sure. Visit tophitsusa.com or call 800-521-2537.
DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
Okay, before our break, we were talking about some of the different aspects of doing a regional show and such. Now, Robbie, what I wanted to kind of touch on, a lot of DJs I talk to, they get their educational content. Some of them are watching YouTube videos. Some of them are going to these little meetings that different associations have, or different DJ groups. I mean, the East Coast have got different, really. You and I have been to those meetings, and we've also been to the conventions. If you were to kind of compare and contrast what you can get out of a actual convention compared to like an evening DJ outing with a local chapter, how would you compare and contrast those?
Okay, it's even though there is content, there's a little bit of a difference. I guess the buy-in, what I call the travel IQ, what it takes to I guess, how would I say this, to take advantage of a meeting like that. So an evening meeting is going to typically grab somebody within 30 minutes or so of that meeting. So it's going to be the DJs in a very close market, maybe an hour. You may have some people on the edge. A one-day event, you're going to attract people that are anywhere from 3 to 4 hours typically that are going to come in, and they're going to stay in for a day or two. When you go to some place like Vegas, it's a day's travel for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And you're going to be there longer. So you're really you're more, I guess you got more skin in the game because you're going to be there for a longer time, and you get more time to get in that zone. Showing up on a one-day event, you just got to take this stuff in and then you're back to life. For a 2-day regional event, it's just kind of in the middle. You get that little taste of a little charge, a little extra boost, and then you're back. And then when you do a longer event like the Expo or the Mobile Beat, typically it's 3, 4, 5 days investment to do that. So I guess it's how much information gets thrown at you and how much time you have invested.
And I like that you mentioned, kind of the skin in the game is I think that's a when I have got more money, and I'm not saying I just do this to invest money or to throw money away, but when I have money on the line, if I go to a local, when we had our chapter meetings up here in Minnesota, I didn't have much, maybe $20 and my time into getting to it. So, I may or may not go and, whatever. But when I have got, I'm going to Vegas or wherever, I have got more resources into it, and I want to make sure that those things pay off, or that I get my benefit out of that. And I could definitely see that being a huge motivator for people.
Yeah, there's the small one-day events, the evening events. Those are great. They have their need, and you need multiples of those. Those are usually monthlies. Your regional event, it can happen. It could be one in my market, and then 4 hours away, somebody else could have another regional event. And, you can travel 3 or 4 hours to go to one event or the other, and do the 1 or 2 days out, and then again, the larger events just have their place too. It's just all different flavors or different deliveries of the same kind of thing,
And you mentioned also, Robbie, the idea, when people are coming within 3 or 4 hours for a one-day event. Have you noticed that people who are from the same market or a similar market, or they may overlap, they aren't as apt to be sharing some of their information as, say, such as when you're going out to Las Vegas and you're talking to a DJ from Sacramento?
Yeah. Yeah. When you're at a regional, or if you're at an evening event with all the local DJs, everybody's just, you're getting there's a lot of communication. You're taking this information in, but you're not going to be as open about some of your trade secrets. One thing I like about Vegas is, I'm Tennessee going all the way to Vegas. Nobody there is in my market, and you get that people are more open to share when you're that far away and that far removed, because we're all kind of in the same boat, and we can compare the different different takes on what we do as a business. And I think the more removed you are, with other DJs, the more connection you can make as far as sharing the kind of ideas that you share.
And I think that,
in general, not everybody's like that, but in general.
And I think that's one of the really cool things about ARM DJs that you've been working with, is that you've got people coming in from around the country. It's not just the local market. So you have people coming in who are more than willing to share. In some case, I'm an open book here. What do you want to know?
Well, so many different markets. I mean, we have the Atlanta market. We have, I guess, Charlotte, people from that area. You got Louisville, Kentucky. You got Nashville. So these are different markets that are so far away from each other that we very seldom do I ever go to any of those markets to perform, or they, or they cross paths with me. So you're kind of moved away, removed just enough to where you have that open communication. And that's and there's less buy-in on. It's less of a burden to try to go to a regional event. It's usually within driving range, and you don't have to book a flight or anything like that. So usually 3 to 4 hours is not a bad drive for most people for regional events. So I think that's one of the really appealing things to a lot of people about a regional event, is that they can zip down, do the event, spend some time with some people just outside their market and other markets, and then get back home and get back to business.
Cool. I want a couple minutes. We'll talk about who's coming up for next year, and then I want to branch out because you've diversified. Now you've got your DJ, you do the ARM DJs, and then you have Funville. I want to talk a little bit about Funville for just a couple of minutes before we wrap up because that's kind of a cool little thing. So let's talk about who's going to be presenting in 2017.
Okay, 2017, we got a kind of the who's who over the last 9 years, and I have to look at the list to make sure I don't.
Yep. Don't forget anybody. We want to make sure you get that.
So the perfect host we mentioned earlier, Jim Cerrone, he's going to be back. Ben Stowe, got to have Ben. He's been Northern Light Effects has been a huge supporter of my event over the years. And then speaking of supporters, we also have Dr. Drax from the ADJ. He's helped me out a lot over the years and been a support for my event. Larry Williams was actually the first presenter at ARM DJs.
Oh wow!
So changing public perception was his topic, and it kind of kicked things off. And then Mike Walter from up north is going to be coming down, and Peter Mary, Randy Bartlett, Ron Ruth, Scott Favor, Dave Lewis, and Sean McKee are all going to be part of this. So that's just it's a pretty good start for a 2 days worth of content. It's going to be a lot of information packed in this event, and that's kind of the who's who that's presented at my event over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Or the last 9 years.
9 years. I was going to say it's been quite a few years.
Yeah.
I haven't been, you guys. I'm just bouncing back over to the chat room. I haven't been able to. Robbie and I've been. Yeah. We've been talking, and I haven't been paying attention. So
that's okay.
If you guys have any questions or anything, if I missed one, I apologize. Just put them back in the chat here, and such. Robbie, website. If they want to do that, give me a website here. So I'm going to put that into the.
Okay. ARM DJs. It's armdjs.com. It's armdj.com.
Okay, I'm going to put that up here. It's going to be in the description below, so you guys will see that and on the chat.
And we have 2 passes left of our classroom style seating. We've already sold 98 passes to this event, and for a regional event, that's a really good start this early on.
Yeah, nice.
So we're going to have to go theater seating on everybody else because we're to make it fit.
Question here, Robbie. How do you get open communication among local DJs?
It's you just got to be friendly. You got to invite them. Before I started on DJs, I actually did a networking thing. This is before I was even a member of the American Disc Jockey Association. I invited all the DJs to show up at a networking event, and it wasn't sponsored by anything. It wasn't an ADJ networking event or anything. It was just show up, bring business cards, and we did it in the spring. I think it's March, and it was just see what happens. So we had about 10, 15 DJs showed up, and they all swapped cards and kind of called up. And a lot of people that were in that room had no idea they never even heard of Mobile Beat Magazine or Disc Jockey News or
anything like that. Yeah,
the ADJ or anything like that. So for them to be in that moment, to be exposed to that, and they got turned on to the magazines and your newsletters or newspaper and everything. It was just it was kind of eye opening to a lot of people, and it kind of got the ball rolling in my market. And they say a rising tide raises all ships. And that's kind of what happened in our market. The DJs got together and realized that, hey, we can work together and improve this market. And we did. And we've had a really good run over the last 10 years. Very
nice. Very nice. Easy. One of the things to keep in mind is what Robbie said is exactly right. But the one thing is you're not going to win over everyone. There's going to be some people out there who are just going to be, you're just not going to be able to deal with. But to invite them, try, and after you've been, they've been turned down, or if you get to the point where it's like, you know what, it's just not going to work, there's going to be some duds and there's going to be some gems. Yeah. And the idea is you want to gather the gems together and work together.
Don't overlook the new guys. DJ Craig was the new guy in my market that was just starting out, the little kid. And now he's above average on what he's charging and everything. I mean, he's doing really well.
Nice.
And using what he's learned in the business in other things that he's getting into in life. But through college, he was kind of just DJing on the side, and he's grown very proud of where he came from, where he was. He was just that kid DJing for a couple bucks.
Yeah, isn't that something? How some of these young guys are. You and I look at them as kids for sure, because it's like, oh yeah. And here they are, they're going out and rocking.
They just don't know any better. You get into this amazing little business. It's so easy to get into. You go buy some or use the church sound system. You got your music on your iPod or whatever, and you just go out and you play some tunes. You make people happy, and it's addictive.
Yeah,
we get in it, and we get really, really excited about doing these sort of things. So.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's a cool thing, but it's neat to when you can help one of these young guys learn some of the things that you and I have learned the hard way over 20 some years. and they catch on the lesson and they can turn around and implement it. And it's like, wow.
Yeah. And it can be a serious business.
Yeah.
I've done this full time for 25 years, full time. Yeah. And it's just, it's pretty much all I've done most of my life now.
Yeah. Isn't it something? It's like, gosh, over half our life we've been doing this.
Yeah.
Okay, let's wrap it up. I want to talk a little bit about, you've diversified, you've got your DJ business, but then you've also got Funville down there. Now tell us a little bit about what brought that on.
Okay, really quick with the Funville thing, was DJ and fundraiser parties, these mega parties, reward parties at schools, where kids would sell 10 items, they get to go to a party, reward party at the school. And I've done those for quite a few years. And then we were looking at ways of making it bigger and better, bigger sound system, bigger things, light shows, that sort of thing. And then eventually we discovered the inflatables. Now this was 20 years ago. And we got a couple inflatables. We added that to the party. And that kind of got me thinking this inflatable stuff may be okay. And then that summer I did a couple corporate events. Then they had inflatables. So I'm like, well, maybe that's what I need to do. So I kind of rebranded and started the company called Funville. And the whole approach was to go into these corporate clients and offer a turnkey event, not just renting stuff. You can rent a moonwalk, you can rent tables and chairs and stuff. But as an event company, you come in and do the whole thing, then everything fits. Because I've been as a DJ at an event and I'm rocking the crowd. I've got my crowd and nobody's on the moonwalk because they're having fun with me. If I'm hosting the event and I own the moonwalks too, then I can kind of help spread. I keep the bigger kids busy, but little kids play on the moonwalks and they get more value out of the stuff they're spending money on. And that was kind of my approach, a little bit different angle than a rental company would. And we did it from an entertainment point of view and had a blast with it. And in my heyday, I had over 60 some inflatables.
Wow.
That we were at our disposal, among other things, the game show setups and anything fun. That's the core part of my business is it entertains the fun.
Yeah, very cool. I remember seeing pictures and such as you were building this up, and it's like, holy cats! I mean, that was not so much. It wasn't a little thing anymore. I mean, it just really grew.
Yeah. It gets pretty crazy. Yeah, it's been an interesting ride.
If you were going to give, just as our closing thoughts, if you were going to give some advice to someone who's looking to diversify and go into a separate direction like that, I mean, how would you recommend them doing that? Is it something they can handle themselves, getting people involved? What would be some advice for that?
At the point I'm at in my life now, there's so many people out there with inflatables. Everybody's got inflatables. There's all this stuff. It doesn't make sense to buy a bunch of inflatables and compete against the other companies got inflatables. Try to get a relationship with another company and let them do all the hard work. Let them bring in the inflatables and stuff, but you go in as a host at the event and you kind of be the glue that puts everything together and keeps everything on the same page. If you go in kind of leading the event, you can take over the event. You can go to a corporate client and say, I'm the guy that's going to make it happen. I'm not just a DJ. It's going to play music. It's going to sit in the corner and do his thing. I'm your host for your event. And that's kind of where the Funville brand's going as we go into the clients and we say, what do you want to accomplish? All right, let's put it together. You want a kid zone? We'll do some inflatables. You want to do, you got the teenagers? Let's do some stuff with them. Let's do some interactive stuff. It's hot in the summertime. Let's bring in some water games. Let's do some, the interactive fun water themed type games or whatever. You need tents, tables, and chairs. We got those too. And if I don't have my inventory, I sub rent them from somebody else. And that's kind of, I think going into it, it's so easy for us to get in to, I need to buy that. I need to possess that to use it for this party. Me at the age I'm at now, I wish I would have used other people's resources. Of course, early on, nobody had this stuff.
Yeah.
Especially in the market. So I had to go get the stuff. But now I'm looking at who else can I use them and still make my profit margins, but let them do all the hard work.
For sure. Oh, that's great advice.
I hope they don't see this.
They'll be like, dang that Robbie.
That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing.
Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. Robbie, we're going to wrap things up. Link armdjs.com. We've got that in the description. It was in the chat. Gang, if you get a chance, check that out. Robbie, you've got some tickets. You said there are 2 of the tickets, but there are additional tickets still remaining, correct?
Yeah. There's plenty. There's going to be plenty more, but with classroom style seating is that's one thing about a regional event. It's so easy to do classroom style seating, and it's so much better when by classroom style. I mean, we have the tables. Not everybody realizes what that is.
Yeah, that's true.
But you also got a table in front of you. You can put your laptop. Powers ran to the table. You got refreshments, water, that sort of thing. And in the room, in the ballroom, in the location we're at, after we do 100 of those, we don't have a whole lot of space left, or 100 seats in classroom style. So to be able to scale this event up, because we feel like we can sell another 50 to 100 more seats, then we're going to go theater style seating for the other seats. So we have 2 more of the classroom style. and then we go into regular seat sales that are kind of in the back half. Still not a bad seat in the room. The room's not that big, but we it's going to be fun. It's exciting to sell this many passes this early on. You know how it goes. You usually wait till the last minute. So
unfortunately.
This early on is pretty awesome.
No, that is great stuff. Great stuff. Again, go check those out. That's going to be happening next. What are the dates, Robbie?
Oh, wait a minute. Let me look at my
June
thing just to make sure.
Give us an
it's June. Yeah, it's June 19th through the 21st. So the 19th is the day that a lot of people do the golf. It's a Monday. And then that night we have the kind of a pre-party, or we call them meet, greet, and jam. If you can play an instrument, you get on stage and jam with everybody else. It's pretty magical to watch these guys that never play together get up there and just create the music and stuff like that.
Good stuff.
And then 2 days of content, and then there might be some other stuff. Peter Murray's doing a workshop. That's a 2-day workshop. He's going to be Monday with the professional process, or maybe it's Make It Grand. One of his workshops is going to be on the Monday, and he's going to finish up on the Thursday.
Cool.
So those things, you can find all that information on armdjs.com.
Sounds great, Robbie. Thank you very much for being on tonight, gang. Again, if you have any questions, please wait and put those in the chat, down the comments area down below, because we'll lose the side chat, and you can ask there, and we'll do our best to get those answered. Robbie, thanks for joining me tonight, and have yourself a great evening.
Hey, thank you.